Hey guys, for Blend295, recording live from local county prison cell. I wanted to get one fight in before Harley versus, what's her name? Harley versus Jinx. So here we go. This one's going to be a doozy, if I do say so. And I am very excited for it. So this fight is Midnight from My Hero Academia versus Edge from professional wrestling or the WWE if you want the specific company. I have really looked forward to the chance to put a wrestling character, quote unquote, in a death battle scenario. Anyone who knows me personally knows I'm a very big fan of wrestling. And it also lets me introduce the concept of kayfabe, basically wrestling canon, which just adheres to the idea that the wrestlers themselves are characters, the performance is a story, and that you are to believe within kayfabe that everything that is happening is actually happening, which brings up a lot of fun implications. But I'm going to start with Midnight because it's not going to take as long to talk about Midnight as is Edge. So Midnight is a professional hero. I think she's definitely in the top 10 of the hero ranking. Meaning she's got to have definitely a lot of experience and skill at her side. She's good friends and former classmates with people like Mike's and Eraserhead, meaning she's, very well known within the group. And that is partially due to her exhibitionist nature, let's be frank here. We're over the 1 minute mark. And also her skills and her natural genetic ability known as a quirk. Her quirk happens to be the ability to emit pheromones. I don't remember what the specific name of it is, but she's able to emit pheromones that will, over a period of time, cause others around her to fall asleep. Now, because the Hero administration had to crack down on her barely wearing anything, she now has to wear a silken fabric that is breathable so that the pheromones can travel through it. And her weapon of choice is a whip, which is fitting to her, thematic choice of character. So with that combination of things, she's actually claimed victory over students. She's been instrumental in many battles, and will probably, if I'm not catching up on My Hero Academia, will be in a lot more. Right now, she's not in a whole ton, but you will get in the description what the theme of this fight is. Now, on to Edge. Edge, or Adam Copeland, if you want to break kayfabe for a second, is a Canadian-born professional wrestler who actually, within the WWF/WWE, has the second highest number of title wins in the entire company. Throughout his 30-year career, he has toppled legends such as Mick Foley, Kane, and The Undertaker. Now, what's so special about a wrestler beating another wrestler? Well, here is where kayfabe comes into play. Mick Foley has survived being thrown off of a 40-foot cell. He has had his ear ripped off of his head and has been exploded. Yes, he was thrown through a table that exploded. Kane is a human being given flesh and form by a demonic ritual, if the sanctioned WWE comics are to be used as a source. He has survived being both burnt and buried alive, and is also pyrokinetic in nature. The Undertaker, Kane's brother, and the man who threw Mankind, or Mick Foley, off of the 40-foot cell, is an undead descendant of hell who built the house the devil lives in, and again, canonically, can possess the minds of bodies of others, cause them to experience hallucination, is similarly pyrokinetic as his brother Kane, just not to as much of a degree, or at least as often, is capable of shooting lightning from his hands, and on many, many occasions can cause an entire arena to black out and teleport within the darkness that it creates. And Edge has pinfall victories over all of them. Partially, that has to be believed, that Edge has his own supernatural abilities, because early on in his career he was part of the stable known as the Brood, when he was a vampire. Now, let's not assume vampire automatically translates to superhuman strength or healing or anything like that, but what we have seen him do is a very similar ability to The Undertaker, where he is able to cause a blackout in an arena and move instantaneously through darkness, but he's also able to cause blood to rain from the sky with merely a thought. So we know that he has some level of supernatural ability, and as labeled out by the SmackDown vs. Raw 2009 Road to WrestleMania Undertaker story mode, that other supernatural abilities are leave a supernatural recipient vulnerable in a sense, that you have no built-in resistances to most supernatural abilities if you are indeed a supernatural ability user. Which was explained when the Boogeyman, I don't know how to explain the Boogeyman if you don't know who he is, was able to counter the Undertaker's own supernatural abilities with his. Yeah, but let's not just relegate Edge to just some basic wizard or anything, you know. He has, of course, developed a very high monochrome of skill. His signature match, being the tables, ladders, and chair match, of course, demonstrates his sadistic and, pretty much brutal style of wrestling. But also, he is very well known as being the master manipulator and the ultimate opportunist. He's implying that he has some, level of understanding of human psychology, but also, being the ultimate opportunist, suggests that he has some sort of subconscious level of situational awareness, right? To where he will subconsciously act on any opportunity to win that presents itself. Meaning that he doesn't, it's not just quick thinking, it's almost instinct, like Ultra Instinct-esque. And of course, like most wrestlers over experience, and just due to it being his specialty, he has some sort of seventh sense for being able to detect where steel folding chairs are. Because they're always there without them looking for them. So, throughout that, Edge has become one of the greatest superstars of all time, and is undoubtedly a force to reckon with, sorry. And is, has done a lot. Like I said, he's taken out supernatural beings, and he's also flattened the 500-pound Big Show, an actual giant who can effortlessly push over a monster truck. Of course, he had to do this with his finishing maneuver, the Spear, which is named after fellow vampires Gangrel's finisher, the Impaler, even though they're different moves. It's to the uninformed, I could see why it might look like a mere football tackle, but to be able to take down the Big Show, who can, effortlessly push over a monster truck, and as well as, people like Mankind and or Mick Foley and Kane and The Undertaker, it has to hit with an almost supernatural level of force. It would at least have to be powerful enough to topple over a monster truck, which, it'd be like getting hit with a freight train. So, going on to the analysis, how do I think this is going to go? Unfortunately... Oh, wait. I did forget one thing. Edge has a very rarely used other thing that he's done. Now, similar to Macho Man Randy Savage, another wrestler who was in Death Battle, he has aligned himself. He has deigned to resort to the unholy spiced meat magic of the Slim Jim. Now, he hasn't mastered this, because it was a very short time that he used it. So he can't do things like open up a ring in a pocket dimension and teleport his opponents to it like Macho Man Randy Savage can. But his ability is unique in and of itself. Upon consuming the Slim Jim, upon snapping into the Slim Jim, he creates a tiny, miniaturized, and pure evil version of himself, who, to my knowledge, the only reason for its existence is to cause untold havoc and chaos. in all space around him. Edge is not one to mess with, no matter if you think you know him or not. So as I was saying earlier, in this matchup, unfortunately, I don't think there is anything Midnight can do to win. True, she has her quirk, which is a genetic ability. So clearly it would affect Edge. He wouldn't be able to have any sort of resistance to it if it were magical based. Right? So it would affect him. However, we know that her quirk doesn't work instantaneously. And Edge has his own abilities that would affect Midnight that really doesn't leave her with much option. Like, for instance, he could cause a blackout in the arena and just instantaneously move behind her and attack. He could cause blood to rain from the sky. Blood, being a liquid with a high iron content, would of course absorb and kind of flush out all of the pheromones that she's protruding. It would be impossible for her to try to push them through wet clothing. And, the situational awareness would give him this, ability to do this regardless of whether he was drowsy or not. Not to mention, that's before getting into the Slim Jim. So, I really don't think there's much she can do. How I see this fight going, she might back him into a corner for a little bit. She could distract him with feminine wiles, but we've seen Edge attack women on multiple occasions. He does not care. I see her maybe tangling him with the whip as a desperate last attempt to contain him, but, he might even end up biting into the Slim Jim to cause the little hellspawn to attack him, or to attack her. In which case, it's going to end with a spear, which would cause devastation to Midnight. Of course, undoubtedly, knocking her unconscious instantaneously, maybe even rupturing organs and breaking her bones. Then, all it's going to take is a few still chairs, and he will sandwich her head between them with a concerto, which is another move that he does with chairs. But anyway, yeah, I see Edge winning this. This fight of the rated R superstar and the rated R hero you will see clearly on this day why this fight goes the way it does. Anyway, for Blinja 95, see ya.